Hello guys, King Wizard here today with another edition of casual Yu-Gi-Oh decks. Um, this one is pretty fun, it's actually pretty good as well, but it is casual just in the sense that it really can't face any of the meta. Um, Now, I know that is up to kind of who's actually running the meta deck, but I've tested this deck against the AI running, various different meta decks, and I would consistently get stomped. It would pretty much either stop any of my plays from happening, or my plays just weren't big enough to the point where, like they weren't really considered, they weren't power plays, really. Like this deck doesn't have too many extreme boss monsters. Like the only really boss monsters that it has is First of the Dragons, Beals, and Leo. Those are pretty much the only boss monsters, and they're pretty much they have like out of my entire extra deck, they have the lowest chance of me actually being able to go into it. Um, so this deck is what I like to call Box of Tzolk'in. Um, Mainly because they can go into Ultimaya Tzolk'in. The funny thing is, I've been testing this deck out all day, and I have not been able to go into it once. Mainly because in order to actually go into it successfully, your opponent has to have only one monster out in the field, or I have to go first and open up Box of Friends and Dragged, or Alexandrite Dragon and J Connection. Um, so the chances of actually going into it are pretty low. Now this deck is built around that, funnily enough, but it doesn't really slow the deck down having the cards in there because they work as targets for common charity, and Draggard's effect is extremely good in this deck. Um, So I'm just going to go ahead and quit rambling and go down to the deck profile. For the normal monsters, we have Hieratic Seal, the Sun Dragon Overlord, two of those, two Labradorite Dragons, two Alexandrite Dragons, two Mythical Griffins, uh, two Gymnite Garnets, two Soul Tigers, two Gymnite Sapphires, three Draggards, one Rescue Rabbit, and three Box of Friends. Um, Now, the only monster in this that technically, the only normal monster that isn't a target for Box of Friends is Alexandrite Dragon, and the reason why I'm running him is because not only is he kind of, a normal monster beat stick, but he basically, like, if I open up him and Drag Connection, but no Draggard, I can just, use Drag Connection, send him back, and grab a Draggard. God, that's a mouthful. Grab a Draggard. Um, so it helps, like either get a Draggard playoff to make a rank 4, or potentially make Ultimaya Tzolk'in and bring out a Beals. Um, as for Rescue Rabbit is fairly obvious. And as for these two, again, it's they're both targets for Box of Friends, so Box of Friends can bring them both out, but you can't really do anything with both of them on the same out on the same time. You can't exceed with them both because it's an 8 and a 6. But what you can do is normal summon Draggard, tribute himself, make Labradorite a level 8, and go into Ultimaya Tzolk'in, and then which would bring out a Beals. That was the concept of the deck. I was looking to make a Box of Friends deck, and then I saw the Hieratic Seal, and I saw Labradorite Dragon. I would be like, that would be really cool if I could go into Tzolk'in with them. So I was looking for something to pretty much make this a level 8, and Draggard just happens to pretty much perfectly synergize, not only with that concept, but with the rest of the deck as well, since he can grab, upon his normal summon, you can special summon either Sapphire or Soul Tiger for an instant rank 4 play, which is just wonderful. Under the spells, we have an unexpected die, I believe. I believe Unexpected Die is the actual name of the card. This is on Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro, so it still has a lot of the OCG names. In the OCG, it's an unexpected guy. Um, 2 double summons. I'm kind of contemplating taking this out or not. Um, 2 upstarts, 2 Dragon's Mirrors, 2 Drake Connections, 2 Swing of Memories, and 2 Forbidden Lance. Dragon's Mirrors in there because First of the Dragons is a boss monster. Um, Forbidden Lance just to kind of help protect stuff. I did previously, like right before I started recording this, I did a match against X Sabers because those are pretty much the only deck that has a that has an actual script so that the AI can actually use it effectively. That's one of the only decks that the AI could use to where it doesn't constantly stomp me, but it's on the same competitive level. Like the matches are always really, really close. Like one of the first matches I did against it, it pretty much got me down to like 1500 or so, like in one turn, and I was kind of fucked. And I managed to get out First of the Dragons and almost stall for a long ass time, and then I probably got him down to maybe 1000 life, and then he just happened to burn me after that for with X Saber Reflect. I think that's the name of the card, whatever is the quick play spell. He pretty much just kind of burned me for the rest of that, so I barely lost that. It was a really close comeback too. For the traps, we have 2 Soul Rope and 2 Common Charity. Soul Rope is a card that I really haven't gotten the chance to test my idea behind it. And the idea is that when Box of Friends, like if I don't have a Dragger on my hand, um, but I have this face down in a Box of Friends, they attack in a Box of Friends, it gets destroyed, I chain Soul Rope and special Draggered, and then Box of Friends, special out Hieratic Seal, and then the Labradorite Dragon, and then next turn go for an Ultimate Tzolk'in. I have not been able to play that yet. I've drawn this card. It's just either it's gotten MST'd or I just haven't had a Box of Friends out. So it's fairly unfortunate. A lot of the testing or a lot of the concepts that I have in this deck, I haven't gotten to perfect. So pretty much at the moment, the only things that I've really been able to do is go into First of the Dragons and rank 4. There have been times where I can go into a Leo, but it's kind of rare. And then, yeah, 3 Common Charities for obvious reasons. It's an amazing draw card. There have been times, though, I feel like what I'm about to bring up is more about Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro's shuffling system. There's so many times where if I open up with 1 Common Charity, I'm almost guaranteed to draw multiple copies of it. There was one game where I opened up 3 Common Charities, but I know there was at least 2 games where I opened up 2 Common Charities and 2 Upstarts in the same exact hand. Like it was almost card for card, exactly the same. I think there was like 1 card difference, and it's just extremely annoying when that happens. And I really don't think that's up to the deck's consistency. I think that has to do with Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro's shuffling mechanic. So onto the extra deck, which I really need to sort. For the synchros, we have Ultimate, Tzolk'in, and Beals, 2 Leos. It's fairly obvious as to why. I should probably actually cut out 1 Leo. I don't know why I have 2. So yeah, the Ultimate Tzolk'in brings out the Beals, and then Leo's in there because everything is a level 4, and Labradorite's a level 6 tuner. So, possible boss monster. And the fact that you can Dragger the Labradorite, and that's an instant Leo right there. 2 First of the Dragons is do play 2 Dragon's Mirrors. 1 Princess Cologne. Now, this, I know in other Box of Friends builds, this is kind of like a boss monster of the deck, but the amount of times that I've been able to go into a rank 4 and just haven't had a Box of Friends in my grave, like I'll be able to go into a turn 1 rank 4 and just, not have a Box of Friends, so I don't like having multiple copies of this in my extra deck. I feel like it's wasted space. 1 Diamond Crab King because out to Towers. Even though I haven't faced Towers Turbo. If I ever duel with this deck on DN, that's definitely going to be something that's going to stay. It's also kind of a boss monster because 3000 beat stick. Um, Cowboy, Emerald, for obvious reasons. I don't really want to run two. I've only gone into this card once, and I don't even think I. No, I did get his effect from. I did get his second effect too, special summon a normal monster. But other than that, I've only gone into him once. But I still think that he has a lot of potential. I just need to do more testing. Um, Exciting Knight for obvious reasons. Castel 101, Ragna Zero, and Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. Um, these last two are seriously probably my favorite cards, just because in the extra deck, just because there are so many times where, because I've been testing this a lot against X Sabers because it's pretty much on the same level as competitiveness and viability. Um, so a lot of the times it'll go into a Pashul, and if I don't have a Castel, what I'll do is, like if I've already used a Castel earlier in the game, I'll go into, because this deck can actually like spit out two rank 4s in one turn pretty easily. So what I end up doing is going into Rebellion and using his effect to target the Pashul, you know, half its attack, and then go into Ragna Zero just so I can blow up the Pashul, um, which is always really fucking awesome. I love that. So I like how I have multiple ways to get over that fucking annoying ass card. Um, I haven't built a side for this deck yet, just because I don't know exactly what I do for it. Um, as for the main deck changes, I've been contemplating running Pot of Dichotomy, because there's a significant there's a lot of different types. I'd say the most common type is probably actually Dragon. Um, yeah, it's probably Dragon because there's nine total dragons, not counting the extra. But other than that, it's really easy to get, you know, multiple different types into the grave. So I'm considering running this, but um, I don't know what exactly I'd take out. If Soul Rope doesn't actually work, then I'll probably take out Soul Rope for it. I've always kind of been against running Double Summon, but it hasn't exactly been dead in this, because one of my largest complaints about running Double Summon is how many times it'll be dead, because in order to get the most use out of it in a deck that can, you know, like rank 4 spam, or normal summon spam, I should say, you need to run more copies of it. Well, that kind of contradicts itself, because the more copies you run, the more likely it's going to be you're going to draw it and not enough monsters. So you may have it in your hand and one monster, and you know it'll be useless. So, but so far out of testing, it hasn't been dead. If anything, Drake Connection has been dead more than Double Summon. But if I do enough testing and I literally like never get out Ultimate Tzolk'in, I might just end up ditching that whole concept and maybe throwing in more targets for Box of Friends and Rescue Rabbit maybe, and definitely Heart of the Underdog, because that's a great it's a great draw card. I know there's like more kind of anti-meta variants that you could do with the Box of Friends deck, by running cards like Tyrant's Throes, I believe, is the name of the card. If I remember correctly, there's a... Wow, I cannot type. Yeah, there's a shit ton of these different Tyrant trap cards. But yeah, Tyrant's Throws' effect is activate by attributing 2 normal monsters you control, and then neither player can normal or special summon effect monsters. That's great for just like a pure, almost Box of Friends variant, where you can just normal summon out a bunch of monsters and just kind of use them as beat sticks. But for one, I've tested it, not this variant, but I've tested a different Box of Friends variant with this card, and the amount of times where I didn't have two normal monsters out in the same time to activate this card, and then the way that it conflicts so much with, you know, like Rescue Rabbit. Like there's a time where I pretty much locked myself down because I was stuck top decking, and I had Tyrant's Throws active on my side of the field. The opponent had managed to get out like one monster, that had a decent amount of attack, and I top deck into Rescue Rabbit and can't fucking play it because it's an effect monster. Um, the one time. But it definitely conflicts with this variant due to Draggard and Rescue Rabbit and Box of Friends, and the fact that it's a general extra deck spam variant more than a beat stick, normal monster beat stick. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do one single duel against X Sabers because, like I said, they're pretty much the only deck that I can not get stomped by and actually pull off some stuff. And I just now realized I forgot to save those changes, so oh well. Um, See, this is one of my complaints about Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro's shuffling mechanic is chances are, with my opening hand, if I have multiple copies of it, I'm gonna see that another copy of it. I almost always end up drawing doubles. Now I know that's something that I guess can happen consistently, but I only run 2 soul ropes, so opening with both of them is pretty annoying. I'm just gonna go ahead and go for Rescue Rabbit because I think it only runs one breakthrough skill, so it's not really gonna matter all that much. That's gonna replace something. What's this attack? 13. See, this is what I mean, where I don't like having 2 Princess Colognes because that's a second Princess Cologne would take up way too much space right there. An extra copy that would be dead, and the amount of times that that's happened is really annoying. Whoa. Not sure if you hear that, but there was a loud thunder roar just then. I could Castel it just to make sure that it isn't getting any advantage, but I like to save my Castel for annoying fucking when he gets out Pashul. That doesn't matter. Well, as long as he can't synchro, it doesn't really matter. Go for his effect again. Go ahead and get more damage in. I really need to, like, I've learned from facing this deck that I need to get as much damage in as possible, as soon as possible, because, oh shit. See, that I really shouldn't have done that, actually. Yeah, I learned from that match where he ended up killing me with burn damage that I really need to get in as much damage as possible, as soon as possible. It's not really going to do much for me here. Yeah, the first variant of this deck that I had built did not run Xyz Dragon, and I'm definitely loving it now. It's such an awesome card. Draggard, awesome. There's a rank 4 play. If only I had another monster in my hand, I'd be able to go into another rank 4. I can go Emerald with this right here, and then double summon for whatever would be in my hand, then go into something else. See, this is one thing though that I did, like, I do think is like really annoying, is that a lot of these extra deck cards, a lot of the rank 4 Xyz monsters are so situational. Like, they're like the ones that you would use as an out to cards, and it's very annoying because of that. Like, there's not many boss monsters that the deck really has. I guess Xyz Dragon is probably the biggest rank 4 boss monster. I'm just gonna go Gunman or Cowboy. Tend to read the card name on the art before I try remembering it. Oh wow, that was the second Dark Soul. If he can't get over Cowboy, then I have game, as long as he doesn't have a breakthrough skill. Uh-oh. No, I don't want to chain that. Oh. Uh-oh. Well, I can still kill it and then burn him for game. Oh, and he has a negate attack. Awesome. So he's just gonna stall. And he can attack it now. Love top decking Draggard. And I completely forgot about that effect for some dumbass reason. Oh well. Now I can, yeah, I can kill him this turn. So yeah, that's the deck. Like I said, Potted Dichotomy is definitely something that I want to consider squeezing in somehow, maybe taking out Soul Rope, because as you can see, I did draw 2 copies of it, and it didn't do jack shit for me. I think I did end up activating 1 copy of it, but I ended up, the monster ran over anyways, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm definitely thinking about Potted Dichotomy over it, because draw power is always great. And I definitely need a rank 4 boss monster outside of Xyz Dragon and Crab King. I guess Crab King isn't too much of a boss monster really, but the only one I can really think of is Pearl and Cairn Gorgon. It is possible for me to go into Key Beetle, and I did have Key Beetle in this original variant, but it's just such wasted deck space because the only ways that I can go into it is with 2 Draggard, I believe. Yeah, 2 Draggard. So it's very annoying. It's just wasted extra deck space. Cairn Gorgon's effect hasn't been too good in these past couple of formats, but I mean, 2450 beat stick that actually has an effect. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you have any tips or suggestions, please leave a comment. If you want to get in contact with me, just send me a message over YouTube, or if you check out my YouTube channel description, I have my Pojo username. I frequent Pojo a lot, so if you send me a message over there, I'll probably end up seeing it before I do the message on YouTube. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you later.